On the eve of Jimmy Butler III's return to South Beach, let's get into the stakes behind Golden State's upcoming matchup. In a 5-team trade with the Jazz, Pistons, and Raptors on February 6th, Golden State traded Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, and a top 10 protected first-round pick to Miami to receive 5-time All-NBA player Jimmy Butler. The Warriors have gone 16-4 since acquiring Jimmy, while the Pat Riley-managed Heat, who suspended Jimmy 3 times, have gone a woeful 4-17 since the trade. Butler quickly agreed to a 2-year, $111 million extension to stay in the Bay Area, making you question how the old-school Miami front office handled things with a high-maintenance yet at his best high-performing superstar. That said, the Heat are still competing for the playoffs, and despite losing 11 straight, NBA champion Andrew Wiggins scored 42 points in Miami's last game against the Hornets. Wiggs will be out for blood against his former squad, so if the Dubs want to stay in the 6th seed, stopping him with either Butler, Moody, or Dre would be ideal. Kerr spoke on facing Wiggins, saying, "We can't wait to see him, and hopefully he doesn't give us 42, but I root for that guy, and I will for the rest of his career. Everybody loves Wiggs. Just an incredible human being, and we miss him around here." There have been a ton of headlines thrown around in the lead up to Butler playing in Dade County for the first time since being traded that don't paint Jimbo in the most positive light. I could respond to every one of them, but Jimmy Butler perfectly summarized his return to Miami, saying, "Yeah, I was traded from there. Yeah, it didn't end the way that people wanted to, yada yada yada, but that's so far behind me now. I don't even think about it." Here, Jimmy shows some love to the Heat fan base.
Jimmy, you curious what kind of reception you get?
Not really. It don't make me no different. I'm a member of the Golden State Warriors. I love that fan base. They showed me a lot of love while I was there. But I'm there to win now. I'm on the opposing team.
When you look back at your career in Miami, how would you categorize what the team was able to do while you were there?
We was all right. We didn't win nothing like we were supposed to. So, I don't know. We made some cool runs. We had some fun. I think that's all we did.
Even without Steph, the Warriors should have started better in Atlanta and been able to take down the 7th-seeded Hawks. Draymond spoke on what it meant for the Dubs to take an L in the ATL.
They had 40 in the first quarter. What do you think just kind of went wrong early?
We just didn't come out ready to play. We came out like we were just going to win the game. And we got diced up defensively in the first quarter. And from that point on, you're fighting an uphill battle. So everybody's comfortable. And they took it to us. So we got to be better. That starts with me. We were terrible defensively. Once it's NBA. Once guys get into a rhythm, it's hard. And they got into a rhythm, had it rolling. It's tough to stop that, so we got to come out ready to play.
How do you kind of look at a loss like this where, I guess a shorter scope, you guys are 16-4 in the last 20, but obviously,
It's a bad loss.
Yeah.
It's a terrible loss. When you're in a position where we got a chance to compete for something. 11 games left with everything to play for, you shouldn't have a loss like this. It's too much on the line. Got to win the games you're supposed to win. Obviously, Steph's out. Still a game we should win. So, it's a terrible loss.
I guess with that in mind, what are the keys to responding in Miami?
Got to come to play. Come out and play defensively. Come out and play hard. We got Jimmy over here. I know this is a big game for him. They got Wiggs over there. I know it's a huge game for him. So just like we want to win for Jimmy, they're going to want to win for Wiggs. We got to come out ready to play. They've lost, 10 games in a row? 6 or 7 of those games come down to 4 or 5 point games. Last couple of possessions. So it's a little fool's gold that they've lost 10 in a row. We know who the Miami Heat are. They play hard, discipline, so we got to come out and play hard brand of basketball.
Stephen Curry went through a long practice in Miami after rejoining the team, and his return versus Miami will be based on how his body responds to this workout on Tuesday. This is great news if you're a Warrior fan, given the usual recovery time period for a pelvic contusion we know is 1 to 3 weeks. I was predicting that a return for the start of April would be ideal, but clearly Steph wants to be back for Jimmy's return. The Dubs have business to take care of, and if Curry feels he can go, he's going to do everything in his power to lace him up. Regardless, it's a good sign that Steph's traveling with the team and getting reps following his injury. Here was Kerr on Steph wanting to be back for Butler.
A little extra motivation to try to get back for this game because of the Jimmy factor.
I think Jimmy, Steph feels, an obligation always to be there for his teammates, regardless of the circumstances. He's an amazing teammate, and he wants to get back as soon as possible, mainly so we can, win games and climb the ladder in the playoff race. But no doubt he wants to be there for Jimmy too, and it's one of the things I love about Steph. He's always there for his guys.
In that sense, you guys had the Durant return game in OKC. What do you remember about, I guess, the internal motivation for y'all to perform for Kevin that night?
Yeah, that was maybe the most emotional return game I've ever been a part of, and kind of got ugly, really.
Yeah.
So it was important for our guys to go to bat for Kevin, and they all did. And it was nice to get that behind us when it happened. But like I said, there's just going to be games like this in the NBA season because of the emotion involved in sports. So you handle them when they come, and you just support your teammate, and then you move forward.
Draymond Green leads the entire NBA this month in combined steals and blocks, giving him every right to sit back and enjoy some time off. Green and Butler were playing some dominoes in Dade County on Butler's Instagram story, without a doubt raising this team's chemistry. This was your boy D-Flow, and I'll see you next video.